Thanks for joining us today. We will be talking about the castration of the dog. This is where veterinarians will remove the testicles of a dog to alter behavior and prevent the dog from reproducing. This is a very common procedure and reason that people call veterinarians. So why do we castrate or neuter our dogs? By the way, neuter is a gender-neutral term. Neuter can refer to either sex, but in general, neutering refers to the castration of an animal or the removal of testicles. Probably the biggest reason people neuter their animals is to reduce the pet population. Dogs can breed and like to breed. If you've ever had a female dog that is in heat or receptive to a male dog, then you know their desire because every male dog in the neighborhood is showing up at your female dog's doorstep. Frankly, we have a lot of dogs. The AVMA says we have 77 million dogs in the country, with most people owning 1.6 dogs and 48 million households owning dogs. And having worked with animal shelters, I can tell you, not all of these dogs can keep homes. 3.3 million of these dogs enter shelters each year, and about 600,000 of those are euthanized. 600,000 dogs can't find homes and are euthanized. One of the ways to lower this number is to neuter dogs so they are not reproducing and creating more dogs that need homes. And it's important to not have a bunch of stray dogs running around. Packs of dogs or individual strays can be dangerous to people or pets. Stray dogs are likely not vaccinated for rabies. Check out our podcast on rabies for more information, but in general, rabies is bad. If you start showing signs of rabies, you will likely not recover. We could talk about how nice people are to people by recounting all the wars in human history, but who doesn't like dogs? And who doesn't want to help a stray dog? I have countless people call the clinic saying they picked up a stray dog roaming the streets. When they do this, they would likely find out too late if the dog had rabies or was aggressive. So always be careful approaching stray dogs because they could be frightened and act out against you, and a bite could be deadly. The less strays we have, the less chance of rabies and other diseases such as fleas and ticks and mange being spread around. The second reason to neuter dogs is it is removing the testicles. The testicles are what produce testosterone, which often will aid in aggressive or more male-like behavior in dogs. I've had to euthanize a lot of aggressive dogs because they are a danger to the children in the house, to the owners of the dog, or to the guest of the owner. And it's not always easy. I give the shots, just like I do any other dog, but some of these dogs that have been aggressive are uncontrollable by the owners and require a significant and unpleasant restraint to make sure that none of my staff or myself are injured. And guess what? Most of these aggressive dogs are unneutered males. I'm not saying all unneutered males are bad. I have met many good unneutered males, but those dogs have had training. Training is something I see lacking in most of the aggressive dogs I've had to euthanize. There's a lot of men I run into out there that seem to think it's emasculating to neuter their dogs. And, well, I guess they're right. That's what I'm doing. But remember, the dog isn't thinking like you. The owner seems to think their dog won't be a man if they are neutered. Well, they won't because they're a dog. You're putting your own insecurities on this dog. So don't put off getting your dog neutered because of a chauvinistic issue. Dogs aren't people. They don't care if they have been neutered. They can fetch all the same and maybe for longer if being neutered keeps them out of trouble. And I've met a few men that have been neutered. They still act pretty manly too. So my advice on that topic is that it's your actions that define who you are and not how much testosterone is flowing through your body. We do have dogs for certain actions or jobs. Many people get dogs for defense of property or self, and they want a certain amount of aggression from that dog. And I totally get that. But you still need a controllable dog. He needs to know when he can be aggressive and when he can't be aggressive. Trainers can help with that. Neutering also reduces the urge to roam. especially when the females are in heat, which will keep your neutered male dogs closer to home to protect your home and keep your neutered dog out of trouble at the neighbor's property. Another reason I recommend neutering is because it helps prevent medical problems by reducing prostate issues and eliminating the chance for testicular cancer. Prostate enlargement is oftentimes linked to hormones, and removing the source of the hormones removes what's making the prostate enlarged. When do we neuter? That's pretty much vet preference. I recommend neutering depending on when the vaccination schedule gets started, but typically between 4 to 6 months. I neuter most around 5 months. There are some myths out there that early age neutering can cause growth problems, and I've never run into data that has convinced me of that being the issue. I do know the longer you wait, the bigger the blood vessels get, and while that bothers me more in spays, it is a consideration in castrations. Some people will neuter much younger than I do, and the only reason I am waiting as long as I do is for convenience of the vaccine schedule and because I don't really like anesthetizing younger, smaller animals. Studies show neutering at 7 weeks versus 7 months makes no difference. Sometimes extremely tiny dogs I will push to the 6-month mark just so they are bigger for anesthesia. That's personal preference. A lot of people are concerned about neutering large breed dogs at younger ages because of the potential for orthopedic problems. I've included some links in the script, but in general I don't hold off neutering large breed dogs. The theory is the change in hormones affects growth plate closure and may lead to orthopedic problems. Until I get more data that I can apply to my clientele, I'm still recommending neutering early because of all the other benefits to the animal and the humans. So talk with your vet about what they think is best if you have a concern for your large breed dog. The actual surgery, at least in my mind, is a simple surgery. We anesthetize so the dog doesn't feel any pain. Complete the surgery, and at my clinic, the dog is usually up and ready to go home that day. I leave my sutures internal so they will absorb, and the client doesn't have to do anything but monitor the incision site for problems. That's really my discussion on castration. Get it done. It's a good idea. Please check out our Patreon of Vet Talk, the Veterinary Podcast, if you're interested in seeing how a castration is performed. Next Friday, I'm going to post the video we have of a step-by-step procedure of completing a dog castration. For the vet students, I hope this gives you a clear idea of one method of how to perform this procedure, maybe before you go into your first junior surgery. And for clients, I hope you can see the step-by-step and all the work we are doing to make sure we take good care of your dog. We'll be posting that video next Friday, so plenty of time to join the Patreon. www.patreon.com/theveterinarypodcast. Also, I'm very excited to announce our next episode in 2 weeks. We'll have a guest speaker on the show, Dr. Jeff Rothstein. Dr. Rothstein has written many articles advising veterinarians and is interested in advising young vets in their career. We're going to have a few episodes, and we're covering a wide variety of topics from the business of veterinary medicine to managing your life in vet medicine to the discussion of the topic of veterinary shortages. It was a wonderful interview, full of interesting conversation, so please join us and tell your friends to join us next time. I'm Dr. Nathan. Thanks for listening. I hope our discussions are valuable to you and aid in giving perspective. If you want to contact us, please reach out to theveterinarypodcast@gmail.com. You can find a complete list of the podcast episodes on SoundCloud. If you find this information helpful and want more content, please join our Patreon, patreon.com/theveterinarypodcast. And don't forget to follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/theveterinarypodcast. As always, thanks for listening, and I hope this information is helpful to you. If you do find it helpful, please like it, share it, so other people may find it helpful as well.
you.